February 24th, 3:12 p.m. Wright and Co. Law Offices. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Drastic measures, that's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I never knew that Cell 9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. Lena wanted Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means you... Yes, I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. And didn't see that one coming. The fuck? It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office, Joe Dark. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Marshall not tackled him. Then, what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can see it now, still see it now. Permanent picture. I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lena forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's why it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that, the case ended. Lena was never the same. She became cold like she is today. She must not have been able to face up to what she did, and especially not to Emma. What did you see in the instant that the crime occurred? Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently, I passed out. When I came to, Lena was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma. You've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago. You must have been 14. That's understandable. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crimes with my testimonies and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lena would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally to understand what makes Emma tick, but there's still something that bothers me about that crime. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lena's office at that time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor. Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. But why'd he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective offices and the questioning room are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? Elena was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly. Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lena was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. Yeah, really. Could have been told that she's a prosecutor. After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lena used to be a detective. I'd better have another talk with her. Well, let's go talk to her. February 24th. Elena. Wrong person. Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence? I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul, so why should we? But Elena, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Elena? Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago, and how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. Not examined. Fuck. Back. Let's talk about the trial. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen. I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lena. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. All drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15 there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lena. What that witness, Miss Starr, said. About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lena, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lena look so fazed before. It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. I have a feeling it's fucking Gant. I don't trust him at all. They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant? Then he was the vice head of criminal affairs, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant, he was everything I aspired to be. They're the best team ever. They solved cases before the reports could even be filed. Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're a chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you could later use that experience in court. Gant's help in SL9 case was critical in its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command? That means the chief detective was, no doubt, Damon Gant. Yes, Detective Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office? We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when the last murder took place, when he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. Detective Gann and Prosecutor Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages, when Dark must have panicked. He waited until Gann and Marshall let their guards down and then fled the room. From there he ran straight to the office shared by Detective Gann and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lena? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gann and Marshall were questioning Dark. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies. Prosecutor Marshall, the victim Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma and carried her out of the room and just held her. I can't blame her after all. Her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident? That's right. Quite a coincidence, huh? I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yeah, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, the officer that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself, the chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. Oh boy. Oh boy. This will be fun. It's gonna go fucking well. I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere. Things seem kind of quiet around here today. You're right. The head of the department seems the same, though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right. We can come back here later. Oh. Well, fucking thanks. Well, actually, no. 1 second. Gotta see what the fucking mascot says. And what he says as well. This is the police mascot. The Blue Badger! Future of the star of the police force. The sign's a little changed from the one outside. Oh, well, the dancing Blue Badger. Trademark. Is still under development, you see. You have it trademarked? Absolutely, it's cutting-edge stuff very now. So what all the hip youngsters are talking about. I showed this doll here to my daughter and she burst into tears. Don't show her the moving mock-up outside then. You'll give her nightmares. What have you got to say, bud? That man must be the head detective. He's staring at the screen so hard it might shatter. What? Dark case may have been fabricated. That's what I thought all along. I just never bothered to tell anyone. Oh, there's a guy who cares about his work. Never change. Never change. Police department entrance. Police department entrance. Hey, bud. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things turned out this way when I woke up this morning. Que sera, Sarah. You never know where life will lead you. Hey, Bambina. I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogating. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why'd you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about it, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Marshall, do you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. I love you, Marshall. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence found. For example, the murder weapon. weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's, all right. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound that the victim sustained. What does that mean? It's not the weapon. It means there's a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? Sounds forged. That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL9 incident left before. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I had just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he, your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You don't mean... the king of prosecutors. Not that again. King of prosecutors. Not that again. What are you looking at me for that? Like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day that SL9 took place, that wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the same day of the evidence transferal. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was a thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so that case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him, too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Dave McGann and Lena Skye. No, I definitely think Gant for sure he's guilty of something. He moves so many people around now. Because I forgot that she was fired. Didn't know he got demoted. Or at least I didn't remember, at least. That's really suspicious. Chief Detective Damon Gann and his second-in-command, Lena Skye. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lena transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone knew her, said so. Chief Prosecutor Skye was totally different than she was as a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. Lena's secret. It all started 2 years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was interesting. It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I wouldn't even be a patrolman after today. I won't. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. Bye, buddy. Love ya. Fuck. Well, I mean, we'll have to go here. Prosecutor's office. Oh yeah, they said that it's right across the prosecutor's office. No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into exactly what went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. But we proved in court today that no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. But instead it looks like we just ended up making Lena look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lena. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. Hi, prosecutor's office. Let's see what's in here. Mr. Edgeworth isn't here. Maybe he's being questioned by an inquiry committee. He took a real beating in court today. Yeah, with Lena admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago. I guess we'll just have to come back later. Or not. I don't know where I'm going. Go back here. Criminal affairs. We already were here. Maybe something changed because we talked to what's-his-face. This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do. About Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media and tomorrow's trial. There's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around in Chief Gant's office. Just head across the hall to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. Oh my god. Wait, let me talk to him, see if he says anything different today. Or, not today, but now. That man must be head detective. He's, nope. So, just reading that tabloid still. You go get him. Chief's office. Wow. That's something. Those fucking organs. Or organ. Where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. What? I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me notes. I never could remember where C was. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading on his desk. So, Mr. Wright, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full, too, with Mr. Marshall's misconduct and Lena's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lena, Neil, and me. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with the picture. Yeah? It just looks weird. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. I mean, she looks kind of fucking depressed. What the hell is this knight armor? Hey, there's that little, vase thing that we found in evidence. Get team picture added to the court record. It's just odd looking. Oh, wait. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. No, the top of that thing's missing, isn't it? Or still there. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. Oh, thought I stumbled upon something. Oh, well, the thing on it actually is gone. There is something missing. That weird sword-looking thing. It's different. Interesting. I'm going to lock up here, so let's get out together. Oh, but this office. It was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long been since over. There's no need to investigate anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said, there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet, after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason that he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. Fucking through the front door. Let's see if the chief in here. Hey, pal. Detective Gumshoe, where were you? Were you in a meeting? I was, just taking a breather. My feet hurt. Been sitting so long in the meeting? Actually, I had to serve everyone coffee. I was gonna say he's probably the fucking coffee boy. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battles between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. That's what happens.